All right, well, if you made it this far watching this series of me chasing the giant buck I call TD, then you've made it to the last video that I'm putting out. And I promise you, at the end of this video, TD goes down. He goes down. We're going to know his score. We're going to get to see him. He is a monster buck. So stay tuned to the very end, I promise. You won't want to miss the very end. Stay tuned.
All right, guys, it's 4:50 in the morning. We're all packed up. We're all loaded. We're going after it. There's this part of the property. It's got a high ridge on it, a spine, if you will. I've named it the tine spine. It is where all the big bucks go. They lock their does down in there and they fight other bucks off. Every day I've hunted, I've been able to see the tine spine, and it is the place to be. And from where I've hunted, it's about 100 120 yards deeper into the woods than where I've been. I'm going in. I'm borrowing Chris's climber. Haven't been in climbing trees 10 years. This could be a little bit of an escapade. Not only am I doing that, I'm packing the crossbow. He's got this crossbow. These bucks are staying outside of 50 yards from me all the time. This is probably my last day to hunt here, and hey, I'm going for it. And I have no shame whatsoever in grabbing a crossbow, so I reach out and get him. I'd love to shoot him in my compound. If I would have nicked that limb, I would have him down, but I really want to put my hands on TD. He's impressive, so I've got an opportunity to have an advantage. I'm going to do that. So don't judge me if you do. I just don't. And I don't know. If it's meant to be, it was meant to be. If it's not, it's not. You know, using a weapon I've never even fired, it feels a little risky. Climber, never climbed. I do have a safety strap I'm going to strap around the tree, clip into when I get up. Climbers are a little bit dangerous, so hopefully I can keep that safe. And yeah, dude, let's get in there. This should be epic. I do not have my nice camera. I'm not bringing it. I'm packing light. I'll have my cell phone. I do have my 4th Arrow camera arm for my cell phone, just like I recorded in the past, so I can get it. But I've got so much good footage of this buck. All I need to do is now have him on the ground and in my hands. And good Lord willing, this will go the way I want it to go. But there are multiple shooters, but TD obviously, dream buck. That's the one I'd love to see. I'd love to see him this morning. All right, let's go. Okay, here's an update. I got up here in this climbing tree stand, and I forgot my telephone. So, I can't text anybody. I don't know what time it is. I guess it's maybe 10 o'clock. I brought a crossbow. I had one of the big bucks at 10 yards. I couldn't shoot because I loaded the crossbow wrong. I could tell the arrow was crooked. When I tried to take it out to fix it, the knock was gone. So I knew the knock was like buried in the bow somewhere. Well, I'd never used this thing, so I had to decock it on the fly. I tried to learn how to get it, did it good. The knock fell out, got reloaded, and it was that big non-typical thing. I call him Deadline. Big framey left side, non-typical trash with a big palmated eye guard. Then I had a real pretty 8-pointer, 3 or 4 year old, right in front of me. Had a big 9-pointer that was all broke up 10 yards in front of me. Like I said, I couldn't do anything. I wasn't going to shoot any of them but that non-typical one. But maybe that's a blessing in disguise. Maybe a different, bigger buck will come in and I will have not tagged out. But I had an opportunity there in my GoPro battery. I was trying to run it, but I think it got turned on and went right in, and it was dead. So this is the only other battery I have, so I'm checking in. I brought my iPhone mount to record, but I didn't bring my iPhone. They bedded down pretty early, and they've been real still, but I had this nice 8-pointer. He was bedded down 40 yards in front of me for most of the morning, and he finally had a little button buck kick his toe up, and they just went that way about 50 yards. I think they bedded back down. So I'm gonna get still. I'm gonna turn this off. Hopefully I can reach up, turn it on when something cool happens. knee on the knot of a tree on the way down. Did something to it then, kept me down for a couple of days, but it's just been kind of achy and annoying ever since. But using this climber to climb this tree seemed to have inflamed something. It's been hurting really, really, really bad today. So I'm kind of worried about climbing back down, but I got to. Well, unless something happens pretty quick, we'll be done for the day. Alright, here's a different kind of video for your hunting shows. I forgot to do my video. I got back in the truck, knees killing me. But when I get moving around, it's fine. When I sit still and don't move, it hurts a lot. Don't really know what that is, but it's not fun. Either way, I'm going to hunt one more day tomorrow. Figure out a way to get Josh to the airport. Chris is going to take him there. It's like a hour and a half drive, so that's how awesome Chris is. But I've got one more day to hunt. So I'm doing it again tomorrow. Will be 6 days in a row of hunting daylight to dark without getting down. I'm just super, super addicted to that big buck. And I got one more crack at him tomorrow. And there's a couple other bucks I'd shoot for sure, but just for the chance to see that deer one more time, I'm going for it. So get some sleep. It's like 11:30. Just watched the Oregon-Wisconsin game. Interception right at the end. Oregon remains undefeated. So I'm going to bed at 11 o'clock, get 4.5 hours of sleep, get back up. Let's do it one more time. We're going to the stand that I killed my big bow buck on last year. I haven't hunted that part of this farm at all. I just feel like there's a chance that buck's made a move. I think I've pressured it pretty good over there after yesterday, shooting at him once and buggering him up a second time. So maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but we're hunting tomorrow. See you in the morning. Bye. All right, guys. It is the final day that I'm getting to hunt for sure. Chris is giving Josh a ride to Cincinnati Airport today so that I can sit again. I don't have the most perfect wind to hunt this afternoon, but this morning, deer coming off the field, hunting on this west edge. I've got a southwest wind, so it's going to blow up into the woods. So I'm hunting a part of the property I haven't sat on all year. It's where I hunted last year, and no one sat there. So I think all the deer that are over there, and a lot of pushed over there, are more comfortable. Got the prime compound bow back in my hand. I got my crossbow fixed yesterday when I ruined my opportunity to tag. So, my fault. Man, I'm going after it 6 days in a row, daylight to dark. I'm exhausted. Getting up at 3:30, not getting to bed. Last night I didn't get to bed till 11, so just not getting a lot of sleep. But I'm just so ready to shoot that big buck. I want that big buck so bad. I can taste it, and this is my last chance. So let's get in the truck. It's 4:40 in the morning. It's not light enough to shoot till almost 7 o'clock. So I got plenty of time to get out there. I'm gonna have to push deer off the field to get to this edge stand. Hopefully that gives them plenty of time to come back out and feed downwind of me and come back to me to bed as the day breaks. So let's go do it. But my scent's blowing right up on this hill behind me, which is where a lot of these does just funneled into. Surprisingly, I watched the majority of them just walk in carelessly. They didn't never smell me. But just now I had a doe and a couple fawns come following my smell all the way, about 20 yards behind me looking. They never blew or stomped, but they just kept tasting the air, so I got some scent away. I'm gonna get out and spray myself again while I'm sitting here. I think I'm gonna stay put because I've got 2 shooters that were out here this morning. Maybe they'll come give me a bow shot. I had a chance to shoot, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 right here within bow range that were does, but seen a buck to follow one of them in here. Also, before it got light, a pretty decent buck walked right under me here. I don't think it was a shooter, but it had a decent rack on it. And then out there in the dark, I heard some deer sparring. I could see with my binoculars, I could see a couple bucks, but they weren't going at it, so they must have been young. And then, sorry, I'm so tired. We had that nice 2 or 3 year old 8-pointer, 9-pointer, whatever he was, this morning. Big body on that little feller. They got big bodies up here. Anyway, it's pretty dadgum windy, and it's about 43 degrees, but that wind's making it pretty chilly. I'm hunkering way down like this because if I point the camera straight up, the lighting's horrible. Here, I'll show you. It's not good. Watch it change. See that? It's like I turned the lights out. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here. I'll hunker back down. Yeah, see, that's way better. Okay. One more all-day set here in Ohio. I'm giving it all I got. Wish me luck.
Let me interrupt this video for just a minute. So this big 10-pointer, who I think I saw him last year, I thought he was 3 or 4. So this year he's 4 or 5. Definitely a shooter buck for me with my bow. I'm definitely gonna harvest this deer, but he gets pushed off this field by this really old 9-pointer that doesn't have much for horns, but definitely an older 6, 7-year-old buck. Pushes him off the field, he's coming down to me here. As I grab my bow and pull it over here to start to clip into it with my wrist release, I see my pins, my whole pin contraption is moving. Now, this morning when I had to climb up this tree, I had to hold my bow and climb it because a squirrel had chewed the bow rope on this tree in the dark. There's a chance, there's some manual adjustments, so you can see that knob sitting on top of my pins there. You can just loosen and tighten those now. If you need to adjust your sights when you sight your bow in, there's a chance that somehow that got bumped. Obviously it got bumped. And my pins are wobbling. And I'm freaking out because I got the buck right here, 50, 40 yards coming in. This is the exact same angle. If you watched my bow kill last year, this is the exact spot that buck was standing when I shot him at 40-something yards. It's right in the exact same angle. And I'm freaking out a little bit. So I reach down, and I start clicking on this, trying to tighten it, and I used the wrong one. This is my brand new bow, brand new sights. I'm just not super
comfortable with all the pins, and I'm clicking the wrong one, which is adjusting it left and right. And so it's a complete fiasco here before I figure out which one to manually tighten. Now I don't even know if my bow is on left to right as much as it needs to be. So now I went from being comfortable to shooting 40 something yards to I've told myself I'm not shooting anything, past 30 yards now, because I haven't adjusted my arrow. I've adjusted it enough now that I think it might shoot a few inches left or right at 30 yards. So I don't want to mess up and not make a good shot on a deer. But this was a complete just blunder in the tree, man. It really was. It's always something, isn't it?
So this buck, he's not very far away. He's just in all that thick stuff. You can't see him. I've repositioned the camera. I'm gonna try to call at him a little bit here, see if I can get him to commit to coming back into the tree.
He was acting weird, and I looked behind him. This old, mature, white-faced, I don't know if he's an 8 or 9 pointer, is kind of pushing him. Brought him right down in here. I got within about, 45, 50 yards. And I looked at my sights, and they were wobbling. The pins on my bow were wobbling when I fell off that e-bike. Something, it unscrewed them, so I tightened the wrong knob first, which is moving the pins left to right. Then I tightened it and I tried to move it back. So now I don't know if my pins are left and right. Very good. I know they're up and down still because that didn't move. But I need the deer to be 20 yards now because I might shoot a little left or right. I thought he was going to come right to me. That other buck must have a doe pinned up in there. I can't believe he's backing down to him. It's an older deer, but not near the rack. Anyway, he came back over here and he has that other little buck with him, or in front of him. And he just went up here at the top of the hill and there was a doe bedded down up here. I didn't know she was there. And he just kicked her up and smelled where her bed was and followed her up the ridge, down the ridge. So hopefully he doesn't go too far north and get downwind to me. And he might just bring her right back out this evening. I know he's been coming out in this field. I filmed that buck my first day here driving by. No one said over here. And I think they've been seeing him in the field every evening, so I ain't going anywhere. I'm gonna sit here and try to shoot that 10-pointer. That's the goal. If that mature buck that pushed him off come by, shoot him too, because he's an old gray-faced deer, needs to be shot. But that one right there's got a lot more bone on his head. That's that big 10-pointer. He's still hanging around here. Just got out my scent spray and sprayed again. I don't want him to smell me and run out. But I seen this non-typical looking buck go across the field. And it wasn't much longer later from where he came out of the field. That big 10-pointer was bringing a doe back in here. I did notice his ears were postured when he walked back in there, so there's probably another buck in there still. That nice broke up one that just walked by a minute ago is probably over there. So, anyway, it's right in the middle of the day. It's like 12:30, 1 o'clock. And if this wind doesn't screw me, I'm in the chips to harvest a buck on my last evening, but I have not seen TD. I don't know if I will on this part of the farm, but it's really close to where I've been seeing him, so it's possible. Monster. It's not TD. I'm not sure I know that deer. I'd have to look back at the video better. But in person, that deer is big. Gotta be 160 incher. Gotta be. 52 yards is what I had him at. I might have tried that shot had my pins not been loose when I got up in the tree. So I don't know if I'm on left and right at all. So they're gonna have to get close, inside of 30, for all I even think about shooting. I mean, it's 1 o'clock now. 1 o'clock. I've got almost 5 more hours. When these does start piling out to this ag field, it's gonna be tough for them to get by me without busting me, because the wind ain't right. But if they come right here to my left and walk out, I think I'll be good and the bucks will follow. That's what needs to happen. Or we just need to have that happen right there with a doe and run me out here and give me a shot. I killed in this stand. Last year I only set it in 30 minutes. I crawled up in it at noon. And at 12:30, 147 inch more. Walked right here and gave me a 18-yard shot. That buck right there almost did the same thing at 12:30 again. He just stayed in the woods another 30 yards. Alright, back done. field with like 5 does just for a minute, and then like he turned and went back, almost like he saw another buck coming, and you could tell he kind of postured up and walked back in the woods. He's pretty much claiming rights to 5 women there. Like I said, he doesn't score near as much as the other ones, but he must be pretty dominant. He's big, fat, gray, and I will draw on him if he comes over here. Where he's at's great for the wind. He's completely upwind. He won't get downwind to me where he's at, so all else, I got a shot at him for sure.
Well, I am back in the garage. No mature buck showed up tonight. Seen one big one out in the field, one of the big 10-pointers chasing. I couldn't get the camera on anything because I had so many deer right underneath me that were trying to like figure me out because they were kind of smelling me. They never blew or stomped or nothing. They were just doing that whole thing where they were just really creeping along and constantly looking and tasting the air. So I couldn't move, couldn't turn the camera on. So by the time I could get to the camera, there just wasn't any deer under me anymore because they all kind of came at the same time and left. But what an incredible week I had. The things I got to experience this week here in Ohio on my buddy Chris's place is I may never get to experience that again. I got to hunt the buck of a lifetime. I got to witness and see things. I saw 2 different bucks breed a doe. I've never seen that my whole life. I've seen it twice in one day. Didn't catch her on film because if you've never seen a buck breed a doe, it's the fastest thing you've ever seen. It's literally up on, I'm off, and then they walk around like they're on drugs for like 10 seconds. No, like 5 minutes actually. And never seen that before. But that majesty of a buck, TD, my dream buck my whole life. I've always wanted one with a drop tine. Who doesn't? Always wanted one with an extra main beam. Who doesn't? He has 2 extra main beams and a drop. And I'm just enthralled with him. I'm going to have dreams about him. But I'm done hunting here in Ohio. I'm gone. There's going to be gun hunters that come in and hunt. They pay to hunt. It saddens me to think TD is not only not going to get shot with a bow, probably going to get shot with a gun. And that's fine. I gun hunt all the time. But like I really wanted to get him with a bow. And I had my chance and I hit a limb. But he's made such cool videos. Like I'm just excited I get to share it. And every hunter out there, there's no way a hunter can look at that buck and not enjoy every second
of video that there is. Like, the buck does the show, I do nothing. I just got lucky and I had a camera running and I get to share it with you guys. And I'm glad I did that. I would have got to shoot him on the very first night if I wasn't filming it. I had to position the camera. I had to turn the camera on. The camera warms up for, it's not long, but it's a 10, 15 second deal. And then I got to hit a button to clear the screen and then a button to record. By the time I did that, he was literally walking into my 33-yard shooting lane. And then he walked right through another one. But I didn't see, normally you would just have your bow and just be ready. And the second you go to draw and you stop them and they're there. I missed that opportunity twice. So I would have had him then, but I filmed him. And that was my choice. Camera saved his life. But I'm so thankful because then I got to experience him again and again and again and again. And for whatever reason, I felt like I understood what he was doing. And every time I made a stand move with a wind change, it was right for the most part. And I got close to him every time. And then why that limb deflected my arrow, I don't know. I wasn't supposed to kill him, obviously. I didn't get him. I don't know. But, and then why a button bug blew at my e-bike when a button buck that morning ate the e-bike, literally chewed and ate the e-bike. Why didn't that button buck chew and love the e-bike? Why did he blow and stomp off when I had TD at 28 yards right there, just waiting for me to be able to draw? I don't know why all that happened, but wasn't meant to be. It's God's plan, and I'm cool with that. I'm so thankful for getting to experience this deer. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll quit rattling on.
All right, so as I promised, guys, TD went down, but he didn't go down by me. He went down by one of the other hunters that came in. They had a gun season that opened up, and I don't know the guys. All I have is some pictures and little short iPhone videos of the buck, but the giant buck got taken to the taxidermist. That's a buddy of mine there in Ohio, a really good friend of Chris's, and he is an official Boone & Crockett scorer. So the scoring that he did, the measurements he took, they're legit, and the buck scores a whopping 192 and 5/8. So we were all over that score. I did ask particularly about the measurement of the circumference on that buck's left antler that had the corkscrew drop, the two main beam, because I saw him so many times in person. I thought he had a 10-inch circumference there, at least 8.5, but I thought it was close to a 10-inch circumference. What I learned is, one, that deer's main beam that sported the drop, so the drop time came off an extra main beam, it was considered a burr point, so it was right at the base of the antler where that main beam came out. And since it was deemed a burr point, it could not be included in the initial circumference, that first G1, the girth 1 over C circumference 1. It couldn't be included, so they actually had to go above that. I wish I had a horn right here. Okay. We got horns down here to look at. All right, here's a good example. See this buck right here? See that point right there on the front of his skull? That is a burr point. So that essentially is the start of a burr point. He's got several burr points on this side. He's got one burr on that side. On TD, he had a burr point like that came all the way out 12 inches long and had a 10-inch drop tine on it. So it didn't get scored as the mass circumference. They actually had to, this is really hard. So you have to go above that burr point to take that first circumference. On this deer, it's easy to do, but on a buck that has a huge antler coming out of it, they had to go above it. They had to get above that burr point. So that first circ was like 5 4/8 or 5 6/8. But he said, had you had to include all that, it was a close to 10-inch circumference. So if I would have scored the deer, I would have scored the deer about a 197 and 5/8. Either way, the deer was a typical 142-inch, right on the dot, 8-pointer. So if you just scored him as an 8-point frame, he was a 142. And then, so that means he had he had 50 and 5/8 inches of abnormal points. So the extra main beams, the drop, and all those extra, Triton crown points he had on both sides of his eye guards. Just a magnificent animal. I had such a good time hunting him. And congratulations. I believe I hear in the name of the video. I think the guy's name is Roger. So congratulations, Roger. That is a buck of a lifetime. Most of us will never even get to see a deer like that, let alone harvest that deer. So congratulations to you and another giant buck that they shot on another farm of Myers. And man, that just big bucks out there in Ohio at Meyer Lodge. So as I promised, TD went down. I'm literally going to Western Kentucky now, picking up my dad at the airport, and we're going to go hunt with our good buddy Ryan Bully at Crooked Creek Outfitters, and I'm excited to do that. I'm really excited just to spend time with my dad. I'm going to sit in the blind with him, film some hunting with him, and you know, we may not shoot one there either, but we're going to try, and we're going to have fun doing it and enjoy what we see. And so we'll see you guys. That'll be the next video. So click like, click subscribe. It's hunting, fishing, hunting, fishing, hunting, fishing, hunting. That's not a bad life. Bye.